Welcome to Two Maine Friends. We're your hosts,
Natasha,
and Lindsay.
grab your coffee and come sit with us for a bit.
Happy Monday.
Hello.
We made it to another week.
We did. We sure did.
We sure did. I am excited. We're jumping into a new series,
We are.
Friendship Through the Decades. I'm excited about it. I was inspired for this series just because I entered a new decade, so the big 4-0.
You sure did. And I think it's like a theme this year because we just did a decade celebration for my boys' school for their staff appreciation. So all of the stuff that we did that week was decades themed. So I think it's totally on brand and I'm super pumped for it.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going to start it off, kicking off the 10 through 20, the first decade that we're going to hit, which blew my mind when we were talking about going through the decades because we said teen years. And then I was writing it out and I was like, well, that decade technically starts when you're 10 years old
Yeah.
until you hit 20. And I was thinking, wow, the changes that you go through as a 10-year-old. Because I was like in fifth grade through senior high school and then, hitting 20. So different. Yeah.
That's probably like the biggest shift in our lives, right? Like to go from a 10-year-old elementary school student to a 20-year-old young adult that's like finished high school, maybe in college or maybe working. Like that's a huge transition from that beginning decade.
Yeah. And all the things that happen with it too, like where I grew up in Florida, when you were 10, it was fifth grade for me. And then you go through middle school, which we were separated. So we had a smaller class and we had two middle schools in my town. And then so we did sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. And then we jumped to high school. And now we're combining two middle schools and then area surrounding kids that would come from different schools into a high school is just wild to me. I think my freshman class was like 1,500 students, just freshmen alone. And then it dwindles like as you go through the grades and stuff because things change for people. But yeah, like we had a big, I remember, class.
100 students?
Yeah. It was crazy.
I think so. That sounds huge to me because I went to a school of 40 and my high school graduating class was 4, including me. So quite different experiences. However, I think my friends that I like grew up going to youth group with, I want to say their high school class was something similar. Like I think Bangor, because that was the city that was like closest to where I was. I think their school was pretty big and had probably similar numbers. But I was out in the sticks and we had teeny tiny, even so my sisters went to the high school that was in our town that was right down the road from our house. And I don't remember all of their graduating classes. I want to say one of my sisters had a class of like 80. So it's pretty small. And that's for I think 4 or 5 different towns would all come to that one school. So that shows you how rural it is.
Yeah.
Because to have that many towns, but like the high school graduating class was 80 was like,
wild.
So
that's crazy. Yeah. We halfway through, I remember they built like a school that was kind of in between counties. And so some students started filtering out there. So we definitely got smaller over the years, but definitely in the beginning it was big. And I remember being terrified of going to high school for that reason. This was so large.
Yeah. So middle school is a big conversation in our house right now because my oldest just finished 5th grade and currently in our city, 6th grade is still a part of the elementary school and middle school is 7th and 8th grade, but they're going to be changing that. And I was really nervous that it was going to be my son's year. Like they were going to do it this coming fall, but it won't be this year. And I'm totally okay with that because I am not prepared to have a middle schooler. And also everything that comes with that. So I'm okay that we're still in elementary school over here. It's fine for me because we also have, I think we have 6 elementary schools in our town, in our city. and they
Oh, yeah.
all funnel into one middle school.
Mm,
So the middle school will be much larger, same with the high school and all of that. But middle school, it's a tough time. And
yeah.
every time that I see middle schoolers, and you and I have some history working with fifth and sixth graders,
Yeah.
and every time we would have a new group of kids, we'd always look at each other and be like, man, they're trying
Yeah.
their best. And that jump from fifth and sixth grade up to like seventh and eighth grade is a really big transition
Hmm.
as a person, as a like in how you learn and what you like and how you're acting around your friends.
Yeah.
And it can be a really big jump because there's so much happening
Yeah.
around that season of life. And it's so interesting to watch as an adult now. Like I was at my son's school for their field day and watching the fifth and sixth graders. I'm like, oh man,
Yeah.
I don't think that anybody could pay me enough money to go back and relive that.
No way. It's sixth through eighth grade. I remember being like such the awkward years for me. And for me, like, because we were, same, we had like five or six different elementary schools. So in sixth grade, we had two middle schools. So you kind of got combined into, one or the other. And then you're trying to navigate, like, you have your elementary friends, and now you're being put into a new school with all these new people coming into it. And for me, like in elementary school, it wasn't a huge elementary school. So a lot of my classmates were my classmates from kindergarten through fifth grade. And maybe there was some switch, right? Like maybe some got this teacher, that teacher, and we didn't have
Right.
every grade together, but we all mingled all through the years together. And now you're being thrown in with all these new kids and trying to make new friends, or maybe you don't want to make new friends.
Right.
you know
Exactly.
so yeah, I just think it's like the awkward years for sure.
It is. And like you're trying to figure out like what you like, what you don't like, who
Yeah.
and how, and a lot of that's based on how people are responding to you,
Hmm.
right? Like you might really like that thing, but if your friends are like, "Oh, that's so lame." Like
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you're hiding the fact that you like it, right? And so
Yeah.
we start to adapt who we are based on how people respond to us.
Hmm.
And that can be really tricky, especially when you're 12 years old, right? Like you're just a kid
Yeah.
and you're trying your best. And yet so much rides and depends on what your friends say.
Hmm.
And so I always tell my kids and any kids that I've had in my life, like who your friends make a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so who you surround yourself with is important because they are a big voice in your life, especially when you're fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grade,
Hmm.
and into high school too. But I think that that changes a little bit because you start to become more of the person that you are.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. And there's so many changes happening, right? So I often look back at those years and I'm like, man, I wonder if I just was having change fatigue in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. Cause like you're changing schools, you're now like we had to change classes six times a day. And then I'm meeting new people. And then my body's going through changes because hello, puberty, let's throw that into the mix of all
Right.
these changes, right?
Because that's conveniently timed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think like you are just a mess of emotions and trying to figure that out and trying to keep up with everybody else. And yeah, it's a lot. So it can be kind of like culture shock for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember just I think I hid a lot of what I really enjoyed because
Hmm.
everybody had opinions and I wanted to fit in and I didn't know how to navigate that. So, yeah, I think it's definitely tricky during that time of your life because I can look back on it now and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
What
that
was I
was
thinking?
a
Yeah.
rough time.
Yeah. No, it's fair. I am thankful for those times too, right? Because like it really did solidify the friends from elementary school that were like the real OGs you stuck it out
Right.
with. And then bringing those friendships into high school. Like I've talked about this friend before, but she is my childhood best friend. And we often will post on each other's, social medias for our birthday, like, oh, it's been 35 years, or yeah, 35 years of friendship. Um, this year. And like it's just crazy that we've known each other that long, but we met in kindergarten, we did Girl Scouts together, and we grew up and we went through school changes. You know, she in elementary school was moved to a different school in a different county completely.
Wow.
And then so our friendship was through Girl Scouts. Thankfully, we still had that. And then I stopped doing Girl Scouts in middle school. She kept going, but we just stayed connected and friends. And I think that that middle school years really solidified us. We stayed in contact, still did like the sleepovers and stuff like that. And then all through high school and into our adult years, we still sometimes our friendship is literally just sending memes to each other, but we still make time to connect and like have been there through a lot of like big life shifts and stuff. And so it's cool
Yeah.
that like you get sometimes a friend like that that's there through the ages that just gets you and knows you.
I had that friend in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
We just clicked automatically and had so much fun together. And we did the sleepovers, and I think that because of her friendship, I started to become much more confident in myself and just like she
Yeah.
gets me. So like I didn't care as much if everybody else did. And so and we spent all of our time together. And then when her family moved to a different state when we started high school, um that was really hard. And I was really thankful though my parents were very gracious, and when I got my cap and gown for graduation. They drove me out to Vermont because that's where they'd moved to, and I showed up for her like graduation weekend, and we took pictures together in our caps and gowns, and we had stayed connected a little bit through high school, and of course it shifted, right? Like she was at a completely different school in a different state, um, but we stayed connected enough that by the time graduation came around, we like um, took our pictures together, and that was super fun. And I am still connected with her family. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't talked to her in a long time, honestly. Um, you know, college happens, and then life and
Mm-hmm.
social media happens and all of that. But I always treasured those moments because I needed a friend like that to help get me through those awkward years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for her and her friendship, I don't know what middle school would have continued to look like because I wasn't really connected with I didn't connect with the other kids in my class that same way. And
Yeah.
so I was really, really grateful to have a friend like her.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. My friend is so different from anybody that I've ever met. And just the way that she is so just open minded and willing to like see other people's point of views or I don't know. She just has a big heart and cares big. And so, like, it was just different. I've learned a lot from her through the years, and I appreciate that and love that. I want to talk about the shock after graduation because what do you
Yeah.
mean? You graduate high school. For me, I was 17. How old were you when you graduated?
17.
And now we're adults.
Right.
Like, you graduate, I turned 18 shortly after. You had a few months to turn 18. But then you're just kind of like, what do I do? And if you have college, that's great. I didn't go to college right after high school. I had 2 years before I joined Master's Commission. I was 20 when I did that. And
Oh, I
so,
don't think I realized that.
yeah, so I didn't go away to Master's and do the college thing until I was in my 20s. My first 2 years out of school, I did AmeriCorps. So I tutored fifth graders. I did K through fifth, but primarily I worked with the fifth graders with AmeriCorps on reading and tutor. So reading comprehension and tutoring them. So that was like my first couple of years from high school doing that. And I got a scholarship from it. And then I eventually made my way north to do master's commission. So that was a huge like shift for me. And I had also like moved out of my parents' house. I moved in with my grandmother. So like there was a lot of transitions for me, 18 to 20, before moving north.
Wow. I
Yeah.
I don't know why like that never clicked in my head. Like I knew that you did
Mhm.
masters, and in my head I just assumed, I guess. I learned something new.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
12,
Yeah.
13 years of friendship and still learning something new.
Yep. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I started my college years at 17, and it was back in the day when like websites would ask you to like verify how old you were. Like was having a hard time ordering books for school because I
Oh,
was still not 18. And I remember being like, I don't know what to do. Like
no.
I have a debit card. Like, what do you want from
Right.
me? Right. And yeah, that transition was huge because
Mhm.
I was ready for it though. Like I was outgrowing where I was pretty quick and I was like, see y'all later. Like I was counting down. Like my senior year was for some reason unnecessarily dramatic with a bunch of the kids in my class and like things that they were doing in school. So I was just like, I'm over all of this and all of you. Like
Yeah.
and I just wanted to be like out. And I knew that I was going away for school, so I was also
Mhm.
ready to like just jump into that.
Yeah.
So I left school and went to college right after and
Mhm.
was super pumped about it. And I couldn't get out of my town fast enough. And so I was really grateful for that time to be able to like jump into something new. And
Yeah.
it was still a shock though, because I went from a small town to a college where there were 300 or 400 students on campus, which I
Yeah.
know is a small college, but for me coming from a school of 40, I was like, there's so many people here. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. I remember my first time on a plane was when I was 20, like flying away from home. I remember being so scared and but so ready to like same feeling, get out of my hometown. We could talk more about that when we talk about our 20s. But my so graduating high school, like, I was in a relationship with a guy for 4 years. Like we dated all through high school on and off. And I can remember like standing at his mom's house one day and at 18, no, I was 19 when she said this to me. She said, I just know like you and William are going to have such a happy life here. And I can say his name because no one listens to it from back home. But even if you do, that's just the reality of what happened. And she was like, I can't wait for you guys to get married one day and blah, blah, blah. And I'm looking around the property and I'm like, no, I can't do that. So no, like it just felt in that moment like confined space of I'm stuck here if I keep doing this. And eventually we ended up not working out, obviously, and I packed my bags and got out of there because small town life just wasn't for me. Even though I now live in small town life and love it, I needed to
it's a
get out.
different small town.
Yes, one of the things that I say to every young person who is looking at school and options, and this is just my take, is get out of your hometown,
Hmm.
um, and if you can, get out of your home state,
Yep.
go away for a year, experience life somewhere else that you can't run home to.
Yeah.
Someone very dear to me is moving soon for school, and we had brunch a few weeks ago and a month or so ago, and I said like I'm just so proud of you, and I know you went away. I have already done the college thing for 4 years, and this is going for post grad school, and like so proud of her for doing that because getting out of the state away from your comfort of your family being close by is, I don't know, I just think that it's so helpful if you can put 4 or 5 hours distance or more from not easily accessible.
I say that all the time as well.
Mhm.
Um, I am always an advocate for that because it changed my life.
Same.
And so I think that it's very important, even if it is for only a semester. Like,
Mhm.
do something that's different, that's outside of where you are,
Mhm.
because it could change your life. It can
Yeah.
change your views on things. It can
Mhm.
open your eyes to things. Like, I experienced so much in my college years that I never would have experienced if I stayed in my small hometown.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful I had those opportunities because it shaped what I believed and who I became as an adult because I was able to see things I had never experienced before. Like I
Mhm.
grew up in a town with more cows than I can count, but I was working in a city that had more countries represented than I'd ever been in the same room with.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have had that experience. And so I think it's really important, no matter what age you are when you graduate high school, or if you wait till your 20s, like do something that's outside of your comfort zone because it could
Yeah.
change your life.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. If I could have done that right at 18, I definitely would have. And I'm just so thankful that like the opportunity did present itself.
Mhm.
But like when I look back to that, the crucial years after graduating high school, like do something for you that, you can't even imagine what it could look like, right? Like do the
Mhm.
scary thing. And I think the biggest takeaway from that for me is do the scary thing because
Yeah.
it'll probably change your life at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really will.
Mhm.
Because and I have stories and on stories that I could share about that
Yeah.
experience, right? Like moving to a city I'd never been to in the summer and all of that. And learning from that experience. And that was pretty scary. I was still only 18.
Yeah.
But I did it and it changed my life.
That's a wrap on this episode of Two Maine Friends. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. You can also send us an email at twomainfriends@gmail.com. And as always, leave us a review wherever you're listening.